I organized a build challenge on the Island Reforged in Ark Survival Ascended, and my community made some awesome creations for their brand new bases on this modded version of the island. If you don't know, the Island Reforged is a remastered version of the island made by Cogs, who also made Astraeus, and it just basically visually improves the island to look a lot more like the more recent maps that we've gotten, and it's a really nice upgrade to the original island look, and yeah, it just makes it feel a little bit better. And today we're gonna see some awesome creations of bases on the island. Hello there, survivors, and welcome back to another video on my channel. Today I'm going to be showcasing some of the awesome creations my community made. If you see any bases that you like or you want to know more about, the best way to do that is to join my Discord, which is linked below. You can ask in the build channel there if you have any questions about any specific builds, any cosmetics used, because the people that build them will know a lot better than I do. And as always, if you enjoy seeing these types of videos and you want to continue to see more, make sure to like the video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and of course feel free to leave your suggestions for future builds you'd like to see down in the comments below. And here we have a really cool build attached to the side of a mountain, pretty bunkery looking one for sure, with some really nice architecture going on over here. Some pretty big mechs being built, as well as some pretty cool hangars and some really nice shapes to it in general. So yeah, let's go and explore this one. And if you're wondering where this one is located, it's right over here on the map. And yeah, you can see we have this main structure over here with a pretty silly spotlight pointed right at the main tower with a very beautiful smiley, of course. Maybe we'll just turn that off for now. And there we go. Yeah, the main shape of the building I quite like. I love that little like curved feeling to it. And yeah, by hiding some of the supports, by making them invisible, you can get some really funky designs leaning out of the side of the build. Yeah, you can see a big mech being built there in one of the hangars, and then I think there's a battle ray garage in the other one, so you can really launch yourself out into the map from here. But yeah, let's take a closer look at everything this design has to offer. It's also kind of like a dam in some way, although it's some very shiny water that's being captured in here. It's almost like element water. I hope that was intentional and it's not just my skins doing some funky trippy shit. But yeah, there's some power fields here, some pretty cool colors, and you can see it goes all the way around here before it ends. So let's actually start at this end, because I feel like that will make for a nice way to get around the entirety of the build. And as you can see, we're pretty high up here, and on the Island Reforged you can actually enjoy a lot of the views from here. So you can see the main structure there, but we also have a smaller little tower off to the side here with the transmitter on top, looking like the radio tower. And yeah, this tower I think also will give us access to that giant mech we saw, which I think is a pretty cool addition. You know, some nice details. Not really functional, of course, but it looks very cool, which is worth a lot, I would say. So yeah, this is the pathway down, and then we are here on the platform of the mech, looking very, very cool indeed. I think this is the taxidermy catalog, which basically allows you to kind of add everything, including the mech, as some nice decorative options for your base. As you can see, this kind of like garage with those side platforms looks really, really cool. Especially, of course, once you arrive to the base, when you're flying in, this looks really, really cool indeed. And then yeah, we can go find a way back up to the top here with a little radio tower basically that is on the top of this. So it is good to see that it is all connected, even though, I mean, it's just a cool thing to look at. But yeah, over here, of course, we can go up to the top, and that will give us access to the radio tower which is the transmitter. And we have this room with some pretty cool windows, kind of the control room almost, kind of feels like that. And a pretty good view from here again. Like, there's a pretty good view of the entirety of the map from here. And then, of course, we can continue our way over to the main part of the base with some pretty cool looking structure over here. First of all, this main hangar here has a bunch of smaller mechs all around the sides that you can launch and go on your mission from here. Also where the teleporter is located. Again, a pretty incredible view of the map from here, and a pretty good place to start flying from. We've got some nice flashing lights to kind of finish up the whole look here. Of course, there's much more to explore in here. Besides this hallway, we have a whole room underneath it, which is kind of more of the actual base itself. So we have a bunch of the crafting stations all over the place, as well as a bunch of storage here on the walls themselves, looking pretty cool indeed. And again, with a pretty nice window which gives you an amazing view of the surroundings, and in this case pretty much the entirety of the map. But that of course isn't all, because we all saw how much more is above this one. So we can actually take these stairs up to the next layer here, which will bring us to another room with a pretty sizable space in here. You could definitely have quite a few things in here. We actually need to call down the elevator here, as this platform will bring us up to the higher levels. But I especially like these big fans spinning around, adds a lot of detail. There's some trickery to make them bigger. Unfortunately, that's not just a default option, but that is definitely a nice addition here. And this brings us up to the top of the building. It's not the most efficient way to get up, but it feels quite appropriate for a build like this. So yeah, we can see we're getting higher and higher, and this already pretty tall and pretty high base. And then there's another elevator for us to call down. I also really like these like energy fields in these doorways. Quite a cool effect there. And then we can go up all the way to the top layer. So now that we're actually at the very top, this is, well, there's a water tower here for some reason. But this is also, of course, a great spot to park your flyers. And then there's a little bit more to explore off to the side here. So let's hop down. And then, of course, this is where you would go through the hangar to the other side. There's a little pyramid just hanging out around here. And then we have a little building out here. There's not much there yet. But, I mean, it's a pretty nice room. And then that kind of ends this part of the build here. There is, however, of course, the garage right underneath it. Don't think there's a way to get up and down at the moment. But yeah, we have a garage over here, so that if you want to go and ride a battle rig, you can launch yourself from here and go on your adventures. But all in all, a really, really cool base. I like this kind of architecture a lot, and I think this is a awesome looking base. Next up is actually a really cool looking base. As you can see, hidden here into the side of this cliff. And well, I love a good like bunker or brutalist design, and this definitely feels that way. And especially with the overgrown vibes, it ties itself really well into the landscape and into just blending in with the environment, and it's looking really cool already. So I can't wait to go ahead and explore and see what it all has to offer. But yeah, first of all, if you're wondering where this is located, it is right over here on the map. A pretty cool spot, especially for something like this. This is, of course, a very unique kind of build, and really something that takes full advantage of a cool location in the landscape. It's actually pretty central because it's right next to the green obelisk. Looks like there's, well, a ladder temporarily, I guess, to get up, or maybe that is the way in. But of course, if you have a flyer or something, you can easily get up to this layer where we have a nice little bit of a garden out here as well, growing some crops, which is always nice. We got some more plants out here, and I guess we have even more of a garden around the corner here with some more plants looking absolutely lovely. And I just always love when, yeah, you've got a build that uses the environment, uses the specific location on the map this well. Got a bit of a storage system hidden underneath there, but of course the main thing is right over here, which is the main base. First of all, really like the shapes of these. Like I said, I love the brutalist architecture. I mean, I've built my fair share of bunkers so far and always love that kind of style, and I think this fits so nicely into the side of this cliff. It's really nice to see. We have a nice entrance here going into the side of the cliff, and we have a lovely crafting hall with the replicator, the forge here, and then a bunch of crafting stations, of course, all around, with many more over here. A lovely looking kitchen over here that looks very cool, especially with this little garden feature right behind it. That's really nice to add a bit of like color, pop of color into the build. I think this is some of the sci-fi structures as well as the concrete from the bunker cosmetic, which definitely works very well for a build like this. Cozy little interior, a little bit of a pantry over here as well. I guess access to the top in case you want to place even more on that. We have another little balcony over here, which is just like a nice little balcony with a bunch of greenery, which is always a nice touch. And then we have the staircase going up to the next layer, so we have a bit more storage over here, but also these stairs bringing us up to all of these different layers. Actually surprising a decent amount of space in here. So I guess this is like the bedroom over here with access to another lovely balcony, again bringing in that greenery, which also helps blending it in with the natural landscape all around us. And then we even have an access point to the other side here, which I guess can be used as an entrance. So there is actually just an entrance that you can straight up walk up to, which is quite nice. It's on the other side of the cliff side. This is actually a really cool spot because I thought it was just kind of built into a cliff, but there's a bit more to it than that, and this allows you to still have access by foot. I guess you don't really need a flyer to get up here, which is an added bonus, of course. And there seems to be a decent amount of space. This would definitely be a pretty decent dino pen if it can fit through the dino gate. You can park it in here, and a decent amount of space here to utilize. Very, very nice indeed. But yeah, if we take a look again at the outside, all these different layers with the plants, the greenery to help blend into the jungly landscape that it's located in, with all of these awesome balconies. Really nice job at balancing those plants out in a very natural way. Yeah, it's a really cool build, and especially now that we've discovered that it's actually got an attachment here to the land, like you can just walk up here. That makes it a really cool, really unique spot with a pretty awesome design here. So this over here is probably the most unique base that we'll see today. It's a bunch of cogs connected up and intersecting with each other using some crazy snap points for a really cool, a unique looking base with, well, an actual base, a little outpost base on the inside. But of course, well, the main attraction here definitely is all of these different angles, different snap points, different circular cogs interacting and just kind of overlapping with each other. Really cool choice as well of all the different materials that have been used, and again just makes for a very cool looking and creative base, which just a little teaser of something that will be coming up at some point in the future. It's just a little taste of a, you know, steampunk taken to the next level. But yeah, this looks very, very, very cool. So let's take a little bit of a closer look to all of these cogs, as well as, of course, well, the inside of the actual base itself. But for now, let's just take a closer look. If you're wondering where this is on the island, of course, and it is located right over here on the map if you want to build in this spot. And yeah, we can see a bunch of different cogs already here intersecting. I particularly like this one, kind of like angled on its side here, coming in. It actually leads over to one of the entrances to the base itself, but we also have another entrance over here that kind of feels like the main entrance. And then of course we have the cog that goes down on the side of the cliff. And on the inside, of course, it's a circular base. It's a proper circular base. And it has some of the basic needs. So some storage melting right here in the center. Looks like there's some other machines kind of meshed in and accessible through the floor. We have a bed. So as I said, yeah, it's just like a little outpost base here on the island. And then we have some cool visual cogs. There's actually an invisible ceiling here as well, so that nothing can get in from the top, but you can still appreciate these awesome cogs right above your head at the same time, which is pretty cool and pretty impressive. And then we also have a way out over here on this side, which leads off to the side of the cliff. But yeah, it's a nice little way, I guess, to get in with a flyer, parking it there. And yeah, just in general, it's a really cool, creative looking base with all of these shapes meeting up with each other. So yeah, definitely really cool looking build. And up next is this beautiful base on top of one of the icebergs in the north of the island map. And yeah, it looks like a pretty cool modernly designed base with some really nice looking textures. So I can't wait to get a closer look and properly explore. Of course, we're here all the way up north, as you can see, by all the snow and the ice, and it's on one of the icebergs out in the ocean, which is, I mean, pretty decent spot to build on, pretty safe as long as you don't go into the water, I suppose. And it looks pretty cool to have a base up here like this. Oh geez, the weather is changing, but yeah, a pretty cool spot for sure. We have a pretty cool looking sleek design here for this modern base. I think combining a few different cosmetics by the look of it. But yeah, we have the main entrance right over here with the teleporter right out front and a pretty decent deck all the way around the outside with some space, you know, to park some tames, etc. Make sure that you can house those safely. And we got a pretty nice view already of the base itself. These windows do look quite cool indeed. I also really like the textures on these walls. They look quite nice too, and it looks like there's some pretty nice looking decorative options already on the inside. And then we have a two-layered building by the looks of it. So let's hop over inside. We'll just have to invite ourselves in, and we've got a pretty nice looking like living room over here with some nice decorations and a little bit of a kitchen area right next to it with, yeah, definitely some really cool skins for all of these little assets. And then over here we have some more space on the other side. I guess this might be a little bit more of the crafting and the practical side of the base. Again, some really nice looking skins. I think this is Deluxe Dream House, a lot of this at least, which definitely always looks pretty cool. Some good vibes here for sure. And then we can go up to the next layer. We got a nice bedroom over here. Look at all that. And then we have some nice plants around. We have a photo wall with cats and dogs. We have some nice decorations around here too. And then here we have a pretty fancy looking bathroom at the same time. Look at that. That's a pretty big bathroom for sure. And I think that is it for the build. I mean, more space on the roof, but yeah, a pretty nice looking modern sleek design here, all the way out on the icebergs in the north. Up next is the Shark Stadium, and this is actually an interesting one because this is, I think, a boss fight arena, as we will quickly be able to tell. But yeah, it looks quite cool. It's out here in the ocean, quite smart, of course. There's nothing else to load in here, and it seems like it's all set up for all of the different island boss fights, of course, with some awesome decorations all around here. And I'm guessing the perfect like size to house all of the creatures inside here, and then of course using the transmitter to start the boss fights. Got some cool posters on the wall here too. Definitely a really cool looking build, and I can't wait to see a boss fight launch from here. This is quite a cool idea. Oh, we can actually get onto all of the stands as well. That's pretty nice. There's teleports here. That is pretty cool. Oh, there's a bunch of teleporters here. They've been used as decorative teleporters almost. And I don't know if there's anything else. There's definitely these side rooms. I don't know if there's anything here, or they're more just for the decorative purposes, for being around the outside of the builds. But yeah, we can get all the way around all of the different sides, and I guess every side has its entrance into the arena itself, which is pretty cool. And yeah, it looks like a great place to launch some boss fights from. And in case you're wondering, I mean, there's nothing here to build on because this is using floating and foundations, but it's out here in the middle of the ocean. Next up here in the Redwoods, we have a really cool and unique base on top of a tree platform, of course, and in this case, it's a nice castle. On top of the platform, we have the tribe tower right down below it, and yeah, it's a really cool looking base. It's a really cool, unique kind of thing to, you know, build a little castle attached to a tree, but I do think it looks pretty cool. So yeah, let's take a closer look, and if you're wondering where this is located, it is right over here on the map, right next to the little lake in the Redwoods. So yeah, here we go. So it's a pretty cool looking castle with two bigger towers at the back, and then the main building right here in front with a smaller tower off to the side. A pretty decent space because, well, yeah, you can kind of expand a platform, of course, with some ceilings on the outside, which gives you some extra space, which, you know, allows you to park most flyers, and in that case apparently also a whole giga for some reason. And we got some other services displays here around the edge, and some water at the same time. But of course, well, the main thing we're here for is to see what is on the inside of the castle and hopefully not get lost. But it's a pretty big build, as you can see. There's a replicator easily inside. Looks like this might be the main storage room by the looks of it, and we have a bunch of dino depots. We have a nice little room here to the side, might be a little bit of a hatching room. Oh geez, we got a load of bunnies in here. And then we have, ooh, a really cool shiny RG in this one, and some armor pieces lined up around the outside. Then we have a bunch of spiders in this tower. So I think this might be one of the bigger towers around the back. So let's see if there's anything up the top. Oh, there's even more spiders up the top. There we go. And it does connect to the other tower as well, where I think there's a bunch of remains here. So it seems like these towers are designed to be utilized for breeding projects. And then we have a bunch of these bunnies down below, and there is definitely a lot of them. So this is kind of the main building, and then of course we also have a staircase up here that leads to a new room. So this might be some kind of bedroom, sleeping pod here, another pod right over there. Oh, and some access to the lovely balconies around the outside, which is always a nice touch to be able to explore and enjoy the views of your surroundings. And then I think we can also get to the top of the tower next to us. So if we jump down here, we'll be able to get into this tower, which also has a staircase all the way up to the top over here. And then we get to this cozy little room with a bit of crafting and a tech pod again. Yeah, a bunch of space for sure. Like, there's some huge breeding projects going on, and if you take into consideration that there's a giant tree in the middle of it, I feel like there's still a pretty decent amount of space available to utilize as your base in a pretty cool spot. Up next is this beautiful manor over here on the top of this hill, with mostly using CKF structures by the looks of it, but it looks to be quite a cool looking building with plenty of space and a lot of trees all around it. So yeah, let's take a closer look and check out what there is to see. And if you're wondering where this is located, you can find it right over here on the map. First up is just taking a good look at the surroundings. We got a bunch of willow trees all around here, a whole lot of trees around this place, and the beautiful manor with this path leading straight up to the main building. But as I said, there's a lot of trees around, but we can get some glimpses of the building itself. We have a nice courtyard here. We have a nice unloading station here where all the goods can be transported into the visual storage system. Got some water. We have a beautiful greenhouse, or at least a nice garden out back here, which is definitely looking really, really cool, with plants absolutely everywhere as we like to see it. This looks really, really nice with the tree right there in the center. It's very, very cool. And again, more trees all the way around here, including some very big trees there. We got more willow trees all over the side here, kind of a hiding a manor almost in the middle of it. But yeah, we have the main building right over here, and I think it's time to go and take a closer look at that all. So yeah, it's all using CKF pieces, or mostly CKF pieces, except for the roofs. I think those are probably ASR, and there's definitely a extensive and pretty cool paint job going on all around here. We have these kind of like walkways around the outside, really cool, with those little lanterns in the middle too, giving you access to, I guess, the side wings of the building. So this leads into that beautiful courtyard off to the side, although it looks like it might, I don't know if the roof is going to be expanded on, or that's just kind of like a nice border. But yeah, got a decently sized courtyard here where I guess you could park a few tames. Seems to be some breeding related or gene related things going on here at the very least. And of course, on the other side, it will also give you access again to those walkways. Apparently not for me though, but I assume that's going to be similar to this side. But of course, we also have, well, the main entrance into the building itself, I suspect, and we have a beautiful and absolutely awesome looking fireplace right here in the middle with these shields and weapons around it. This looks really, really, really cool. Yeah, that's quite a nice thing to walk straight into once you enter the build. Some nice carpets here as well. We got some storage and crafting stations off to the side here. It is a ARK base after all, so we need practical things at the same time. We have the replicator over here neatly tucked in, and a bunch of different crafting stations. We have a beautiful like dining hall here, or at least a nice big table. course, the fireplace there. We have some more storage all over here in the middle. In the meantime, my Vilwin is really struggling with this, but we'll just continue. We have another cozy fireplace here. We can, I don't know, read a book, wait for Genesis to launch. And then we have a beautiful kitchen over here with all sorts of freshly baked goods. We have some beautiful shelves over here as well, looking really, really nice. And a very nice looking kitchen, actually. It's really cool. Really, really nice. Looking with a nice and open big design here in the base in general. Got a nice pantry over here for a bunch of storage of all the perishable goods. Nice and organized at the same time. Very, very, very cool. And I'm just wondering if there's... I don't think there's any upstairs that I need to worry about, although this might be... This is an upstairs. There we go. This is the bedroom here where you can log out in one of the sleeping pods. There we go. Oh, and it also gives us access all the way to the rooftop, so I guess this is where you could park some flyers. There we go. Sometimes it's really hard to spot these televators from ASA because you can skin them with just normal ceiling skins. But yeah, a pretty nice interior, pretty big and roomy space here with some really cool bits. And we have a cozy greenhouse here as well with a little just kind of in AFK mode. They're the cutest that way. But yeah, very nice little greenhouse off to the side too. I don't know what's in this one. Oh, there's a little upstairs area here for, I guess, the practical kitchen area, neatly tucked away here. Very, very cool. And then I guess we can leave from here, the other side of the building. That's where we had that beautiful garden, as well as the unloading station for the visual storage, and another access point, of course, to that courtyard, making for a really cool manor, a really cool build. Some lovely details and decorations in there as the is currently going off here. But yeah, looking very, very nice indeed. And up next is this fortified medieval base using mostly CCAF by the looks of it, hidden in the jungles here on the island on a pretty nice hill with some, well, relatively flat terrain by the looks of it. And let's hop in and explore what this base has to offer. And if you're wondering where this is located, you can find it right over here on the map. So yeah, let's explore this place a little bit. There's a few different buildings. As we go through these main gates, we can see like the central building with a bunch of little builds all around it. We have this fortified part of the base, as well as another part right over there. So quite a bit to explore and see what it has to offer. Right over here, we have the bio grinder with a pretty gruesome skin on it. You do not really want to be a dodo right now, because yeah, they're not in for the best surprise over there. We have access to the rest of this castle. I guess that's just like the room underneath the bio grinder. We have staircase up here. Doesn't really go anywhere. Oh no, it goes over. Of course, it goes over the gateway there, and then connects into the main room here. We have some spiders over there, and we got a staircase to go up into these towers. Also different floors. So there's bunnies located up here, and I'm guessing there's another one of these rooms over here. So this is kind of that fortified bit, which seems to be mostly like dino spaces, like a dino pen. And I'm guessing I can go up to most of these towers to, well, just enjoy the views from over here. So yeah, this is one of the towers. You can go up all of this everywhere connected all the way over to the very end over there. Very, very nice. And I guess underneath, we want to make sure that we check out all of that too. So there's a bunch of storage in this side of the castle with a bunch of visual storage everywhere, like the main storage system. And then this is the main gateway. And then if we go through here, we have some more tames neatly parked up here. Some of the gathering tames as well as those spiders we saw before. Yeah, so yeah, basically have a bunch of dino parking over here, which is quite nice. And then we have some Theries lined up over here. Of course, the Evo Thery looking majestic as always. And then we have this building over here. I can see a bat hanging from the ceiling there. But I think this might be a cozy little greenhouse. So we have some nice builds off to the sides for a bunch of plants, more plants in the middle, and then some stairs going all the way to the top, I guess, where we can park a bunch of flyers by the judging by these Desmos over here. Decent amount of space all around, and yeah, pretty cool greenhouse. Then of course we have the central building here in the middle, where there is even more storage. So we have some pantries off to each of these sides to store the perishables. We have some more storage over here, and then I guess all the way at the top we have the tech replicator for crafting needs, and some pretty good views all around with these nice circular shapes on top of that building. But yeah, then we have a bunch more buildings. Let's just kind of follow the circle so I don't really miss out on anything. So we have this building over here with the pathway leading to the door, except we cannot go inside, but maybe we can go. No, we will find a way. There we go. Oh, we have some nice baby dragons, some nice hatchlings going up in here. So I'm guessing this is kind of like a little nursery here, and we can go back out here. We also have a beautiful balcony around the back here with a nice view through the jungle, and the teleporter here as well. And then over here we have a beautiful like kitchen area, a nice little dining room, it looks like. We have more access to the buildings next to this. This is another front door and another door over there too. I'm guessing that's where the generator is. But we also can go up to some of these floors. So there, oh, this is a proper dining room. There we go. And we have a cozy bedroom over here. And finally, we can also access a proper balcony over here. So another nice place with a view. And then I'm guessing there's going to be another room on top of here with some more storage and some library, so that we can have all the blueprints, etc. in there, I guess. And then we have one more building, I think, right over here in the corner, kind of forming a pretty nice like town, or like at least some kind of like outpost. We have a cozy interior here for this building, and we can go up higher to a nice little bedroom. And if we continue around, then we also have some kind of like gateway here in the middle, I suppose, like an entrance to the, well, the whole courtyard area here. And then we have some kind of smithing area with a bunch of crafting stations, a nice little like workplace powered by the windmill, I suppose, which always is nice because it also adds a little bit of movement to a build. And then we can even go up here. We have some more room. There's some more crafting stations up here too. Yeah, so all in all, a pretty nice like little layout, almost like a little town with pretty much everything you need for your Ark base. And up next we have this cozy little starter base on the beach areas near the easy zones on the island, nicely hidden under this little rock formation. And yeah, if you're wondering about the exact location, it's located right here on the map, so definitely a very starter friendly area, although it has some pretty serious protection at the same time over here. So there seems to be a bigger building here as a dino pen with a few acros on the inside. They're slightly poking their heads through to say hello. And then we also have a pretty cool rhino park right out here, but the main little starter base is right over here in the middle of the rock formation. A nice and simple house with the visual storage here on the outside, utilizing those to the fullest. And then we have a pretty cozy little starter base on the inside with some nice decorations and the Roman cosmetics, I think, or the Roman tribal cosmetics, looking quite cool. So yeah, we have a little base in here with a crafting room off to the side here too, and then of course some more space upstairs at the same time with a few more crafting stations, a little room off to the side here as well, and then finally a cozy bedroom at the very end. So yeah, a simple but very cozy little base here on the beaches of the island.